We obviously were being awarded the BMI Icon Award, and we were going to be in Los Angeles, and we thought it might be really just a great thing to revisit a place where we started. It was our first gig in Los Angeles back in '73, I guess, and we played here with Harry Chapin, and place hasn't changed much. There were tables and chairs instead of standing room only, and everything looks a little smaller as you get older, I think, but other than that, here we are. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, I remember distinctly that we stayed in the Tropicana Hotel, which is right down Santa Monica Boulevard, and we didn't have enough money for a car, so we walked to the show. And you know, it was our first trip to LA. I mean, everything was new and different. Being from the East Coast, it was, you know, very, you know, obviously it was California, and it was. And I remember I used to hang at the bar on the nights when we weren't playing, and I met a lot of people. I saw, you know, a lot of great performers here during that era, and then playing with Harry Chapin, it was just, you know, he was an amazing songwriter, and it was just a thrill to be up on stage in a strange city. So they didn't know us very well because we were so new on the scene. We had just made one album, and you know, so it was, you know, we didn't have an acceptance, but people were receptive, and I think, you know, it was the era of the singer-songwriter, and that's what we were. So I think we fit right in to the scheme, in the scheme of what was going on at the time, and our take on things, of course, was a bit different, being from Philadelphia, and we had a certain, you know, sensibility that perhaps some of the California songwriters didn't, but you know, it worked well, and we started coming back on a regular basis. Selling records? I put down selling records to the record company, to radio, to the perfect confluence of time and what people are thinking about, being able to tap into that. I don't really think about selling records. I think about writing songs, and to me, it all starts with the song. The song is where everything begins. The song begets a record, a production, and a record. A record begets, hopefully, radio play and a hit, especially in the old days. That's how it was. And you know, for me, the hit records were a byproduct of the quality songwriting. And to me, to this day, it's the same thing. Really, nothing much has changed. You know, we treat each other as individuals. We've always seen each other as separate entities. You know, even as something as seemingly insignificant as the fact that we have always named our albums Daryl Hall and John Oates. And the world has called us Hall and Oates, but we have never really looked at ourselves like the two-headed monster that we've become. We still see ourselves as individuals. We're individual artists, writers, producers, singers, whatever, and we work together. And our synergy when we work together is magical, and it's something that I guess could only really happen because of the unique circumstances of the way we grew up, the area we grew up in, how we grew up, and our musical roots, which that is the glue that holds it all together. And then what makes it work and endure, I believe, is the fact that we're so different as people. I mean, so different in so many ways that we don't get in each other's way on the personal side. So I guess if you had to sum it up, that's the best I could do. Well, what fires me up is, you know, as any artist will probably tell you, what usually fires you up is what you're doing at the moment. Because, you know, an artist, someone is always looking forward and not looking back. I appreciate our past and the legacy that we created, but I'm really more excited about the new songs. I had a period of, this past year was a very kind of heavy year for me in terms of, there were a lot of, without being too morbid, there were a lot of deaths and a lot of people very close to me who passed away, and things started hitting me, and I just started to say to myself, you know, I felt like it was time for me to not waste any more time. And I embarked on a solo project, and it really, the music and all the songs came from these heavy emotional experiences. And I thought, you know, it's time for me to make an artistic statement for myself with no compromise. Not that I felt I've compromised in the past, but on this one, I just had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do. So I started an album, and I'm just completing it actually this week, finishing mixing and mastering. It's called 1,000 Miles of Life. And it really is 1,000 miles of life in a way. And it's just, it's a songwriter's journey, and I think it's the sum total of 35, 40 years of being a professional musician and really finding myself I mean, it seems odd that I would find myself this late in the game, but maybe it took that much experience and that many miles to really find myself, and I think I have. And this album is just, it's absolutely the most creative and most inspiring thing I've ever done. The songs will all go down well with our audience because our audience are rabid fans and they're loyal and they've stuck with us over the years. They come to hear what we do. It really doesn't, you know, we change our set nightly. We try to take requests from the audiences. So there's not an issue of which song goes over best. Maybe on a certain night, if we perform it, one particular song better than another, it might have a better reaction. But in general, our audiences kind of know what we're about. They come for that experience, and we try to give it to them. And the songs that we play are the ones we like the best.